F3A, the World Series tonight, live, round number 11. Thanks to RaceKraft Simulations, we are at the Hungaroring tonight for this, our 557th broadcast, going live here on RaceStars TV. And we head down to the track just to pick up the warm-up session tonight. This is the silver. We do have gold at 9 o'clock tonight, but 8 o'clock kicking off silver. And 20 drivers or so about to take to this track and do battle in these fantastic F3 cars. Here are the qualifying times up on the screen now, just to have a quick look at how they performed in qualifying trim. And it was, well, pole position, Sean Malloy with a 1:35.8, 1 second quicker than the rest of the drivers out there tonight. So dominating performance in qualifying for Sean Malloy tonight. Can the others try and keep up during the race? Cassidas P2, Taylor P3, Camilleri P4, with Doyle running at your top 5. It's going to be hard work running them to knock Sean off if he's got that sort of pace in race trim as well. We'll wait and see, obviously, in about 2 minutes time when we get live. We've got lots to get through tonight as far as a fantastic round sponsor coming on board for tonight's race, and it is Sapwood Studio. So they've given 30% off everything on their website. We've got a link to the website down below, excluding postage, for all the races and viewers using the code below. So if you've got a last minute Mother's Day gift or something like that you need to get, perfect time to use that code word tonight to get yourself 30% off. We've got plenty of other things we want to get through too. As always, the VRS competition is live and roaring towards the end of this season, with I think 3 rounds to go after this one. So get your entries in for VRS, and big thanks of course to RaceKraft Simulations. You saw that little ad at the start, how cool do their sim rigs look. We'll have a few driver cams tonight. Mickey's out there, unlucky not to probably get a win last week. That big crash ended the chances of Mickey Rubach from probably taking a maiden win here in F3A Silver. Be upset about that. Well, can he bounce back tonight though and have a shot here from this circuit, which is probably one of the more difficult F1 circuits to visit. It does take it's a high downforce setup tonight. Hello Tyson, welcome to the broadcast, man. And I always say, man, I miss running in this series. Yeah, it is a great series. And let me put that one up on the screen, because that is an echoed comment that I see a lot from different people that get to tune in but don't necessarily get to see this wonderful, get to race in this wonderful series these days too often. So it's not working, it's not going up on the screen. Good old Facebook having a game with me tonight. All good, we'll get that fixed once we get racing tonight. Lucas Bird's out there on the racetrack, but hello to everyone on YouTube as well tuning in to watch. Make sure you get some comments out there. If you've got a driver that you're interested in seeing, make sure you come and make some noise for them. Tom Wilkins says, how good's that splash screen tonight? Tom beat me to it. Not a bad one. Let's have a quick look again. Look at those cars. The drop bear cars by the looks of things in their blue, representing Beyond Blue. So it's great to have that splash screen up on there for this round number 11 of the series. About a minute and a quarter to go till we get underway. Plenty going on here at RaceStars TV this week, but tomorrow night we're back with the IPRA, the Improved Production Series, round number 2 from Winton, so that should be interesting and a lot of fun. I know the guys have been out there practicing, getting ready for that. So that'll be tomorrow night from about 7:30, I presume, around 8 o'clock. In fact, we'll go live. And then, of course, VA Veterans over the rest of the week, which is always a highlight. But tonight, it's all about F3 cars, open wheelers at their best, and Justin Rizzo goes to the top now on a 1:38.0. Let's just have a quick look at the onboard. Not a bad little warm-up lap to get underway. We've got the drone camera set up down there towards the end of the lap, which will pick up this last little twisty section of the circuit. Who's there now? Let's have a quick look if we can find someone almost into that section of the track. Barker's going to the pits, so there's the camera set up anyway, up in the sky above the final corner, which leads you onto that front straightaway. We probably see some huge overtaking opportunities down the end of the front straight as well. That'll be a passing point. We're going to have 40 drivers lining up for the Gold Series shortly, but for this one, it'll be 20 of the best for silver. Let's get set for racing. So gridding up for round number 11 of the Silver F3A World Series. It is Sean Malloy on pole tonight at 1:35.8, 1 second clear of Stephen Cassidas, who will start from P2 on the grid. Then it'll be Lockie Taylor out of 3, Camilleri out of 4, with Doyle and Barker rounding out your top 6. John Monday will start from 7th tonight with Gavin Nins, Hudson and Rubok, your top 10. Jared Steen for Tanked SRT starts in 11th tonight with Ben Arthur alongside. 13th on the grid, it is Nick Schmallenberg down there in 13th with Justin Bizarre in 14th place, and it's Mitchell and Morris. Johnny Lee will be out of 17 tonight with David Roberts in the safety car. Andrew Lachlan will be 19th. He'll move up a place because of that safety car. Darren Lester 20th, and then Lucas Burt off the back row of the grid for this race as the drivers line up and get set to go racing. They're all pretty keen. They're all out there ready to go except for Jared Steen and Kurt Camilleri. So smallish grid tonight. There's a look down the front straightaway, and who is going to get the early jump tonight in the first race? And well, Sean Malloy, I expect him, if he can get away cleanly and get through turn 1 without any issues at all, he should be able to streak away off into the distance with that sort of lap speed, unless everyone else has been sandbagging by about a second a lap, which I'd be very, very surprised. So let's just wait and see. We've got about a 2-minute staging time, so roughly about 30 seconds left to go. And we're going to get some of those comments back up on the screen shortly. Hopefully Facebook's going to come to the party tonight. And we'll also head across shortly to check out some driver cameras. And in this, we have Mickey. We also have, I think, is Ellis racing tonight? He is, isn't he? So, no, he's not. I think he'll be in the gold as well. So we've got Christopher Mitchell, Lutzu as well in the gold series. Their cameras set and ready to impress. And in this one, we've only got Mickey on the grid in back in what place? 10th place tonight. There's Mickey getting set to go racing. And from 10th place on the grid, what can you do? Femboy, let's do it. Let's get set to go racing. We're beyond 2 minutes now of staging. So I'm expecting we're going to get going shortly. We'll wait and hear the revs rise. We've got all the drivers on the grid. Dave Roberts standing by in the FRG safety car if needed. Let's hope he's not. And we get a green light. We're off and racing for round number 11. Great start at the front. Casitas went with him. So did Taylor. The run down towards turn 1 now. They concentrate on the braking zone. You can see they're fanning out. Oh, big crash in the background. We've got a huge crash. Opening lap crash. Can you believe 3 or 4 cars involved? That'll be a safety car. And straight away, I thought we're going to get at least through the opening couple of corners without a big one, and we haven't. We've lost Barker, Schmallenberg, and I think Camilleri. Maybe, Barker is the other one. He's destroyed down there. We'll go and have a look at some replays shortly. Sean Malloy did get away in the lead. We're waiting for the safety car to be called. And Taylor, Casitas, and then Rubok with a great start up 6 places. Mickey up into the top 4. What a great getaway. But carnage. Massive amount of carnage, and I think we're going to see the FRG safety car to be expected here coming out onto the racetrack to pick up your race leader on lap 1. So I thought we might get through a couple of laps tonight without the safety car. Unfortunately, I thought wrong. What do you reckon about that? Big incident. Let's go and have a look at some replays and having a look at a couple of the comments as well. What have we got here? Tried chatting over YouTube, but weird. There's some limitations. Yeah, we've got a 1 minute. You've got to subscribe, and then I think you get 1 minute during. You've got to be subscribed for at least 1 minute on YouTube before you can start chatting. I was trying to get rid of those spam bots that used to wreak havoc on the RaceStars TV YouTube channel. So if you subscribe, Daniel, you should be able to chat within a minute or so. Keith's in the house, so it's g'day Luke, Rue and the team. Best league going. Let's hope there's not to pedal heavy. Oh, spoke too soon. He said that mid-conversation there. He said, oh, spoke too soon. Let's have a look at the crash and let's see what happened right at the start. Now, I think Kurt Camilleri might have been the instigator, but I don't want to put him under the bus too soon. Let's have a quick look. We'll slow this down. Now, there's going to be wheel-to-wheel contact there. Right side of your screen. Now, left side of your screen. And it was the number 2 and the number 18 getting together. So Camilleri and Barker got together, and from then on it's pinballs, isn't it? They try and avoid the crunching and the crashing behind. That coming back onto the track was that Arthur in the midst of things there. Oh, that's unlucky for Arthur. Number 10 getting his nose cone driven over there by the 84, wasn't it? So big incident, and a lot of cars there, unfortunately, taken out at the start of this race. So considering it's quite a small field too, that will hurt some of the drivers. Christopher Mitchell's in the house, says feeling hungry, let's go. And we might have a quick word with these boys who are just hanging out over in their little special chat where they all just hang.
Too loose going on here. Hang on.
In their special chat where they just all hang out together. Hello, boys. Welcome to the broadcast. We're watching Silver. Bit of carnage to kick it all off, Christopher.
Yeah, I just saw that. It looked like a replica of the old F1 crash that happened last season at Hungary. Just maybe like 200 metres further up the road before the corner. So yeah, a bit weird.
Bit weird. How are we all doing tonight? We've got Gianni's there as well. How are you, mate? Looking very suave, I think it's the right word.
Good, thanks, Luke. Yeah, cheers. Looking forward to tonight. Should be pretty good. Obviously, Hungary's a bit of a different circuit compared to where we were last week. So yeah, we'll see where we end up this week. But yeah, feeling pretty confident with the pace. Just hopefully don't get outdone with the fuel again this week.
Sid and Kieran, what's going on with you tonight, buddy?
Finally thought I'd step up my game a bit and come join the big boys in gold. So hopefully it goes alright. Hopefully I don't repeat last week and make it through the first lap.
Well, I was looking for you there in the silver, so good to see you've stepped up. No offence by that, by the way.
It's been great. I've had Gianni and Chris both coaching me through the lap, through all the qualies for the gold and silver races. So it's been good. I've found a lot of time, and hopefully I can come through the field a bit in this race.
Awesome, boys. We'll let you go. About to go back to green. We'll catch you for gold.
Cheers, Luke.
Cheers, guys. Right, let's get set to go back to racing here, and we should get a green light. So it's a nice quick turnaround from the safety car, and we're back to green on lap 3 of this race. And Malloy leads us across the line from Taylor, Casidis and Rubok. And then it's Monday, up 2 spots into the top 5 now. Hopefully things will just settle down a little bit. Mickey challenging already Steve Casidis, and now Monday having a little bit of a shot as well. We jump on board with Johnny Monday on a Tuesday as he races down the hill here in Hungary. And it's a tough circuit to get right. There's a lot of load that goes through the tyres as well, and it is the high downforce setup being used tonight. So that will be key to keeping these cars on the track. The thing with high downforce is though, when they do let go, they tend to let go in a big way. The best starter tonight so far, Mickey and John Lee. What a great start from Johnny. Comes back on the racetrack there, but he's up 7 spots into the top 10 for Johnny Lee from RaceKraft Simulation, so that's great. And he's just behind Hudson and Steen. He's got Zach Mitchell chasing him down. Was that contact up the road? I think it was just going over the ripple strip there. You can see the dust and grime being kicked back onto the racetrack already as Sean Malloy is stretching that lead out to around, what is it now, 1.3 seconds. So that qualifying pace has converted across now into race trim. And as he goes through the final couple of corners, this little sequence of 180-degree corners backs around on itself, and then the pit entry. Obviously you swing back out to the left-hand side of the racetrack to try and open up the final corner. And you can already see the gap back to Taylor. And then Casidis, Rubok, Monday. There's quite a gap in the background, getting sideways and correcting and holding onto the car there. Mickey, that was a big moment. Graham Ellis says, is Taipan your new YouTube channel? It is for at least the next 90 days or so. And I'm hoping that we get our rightful YouTube channel back. Big thanks to Taipan Events for coming on board and helping us out of a little bit of a struggle. As I presume, I still have heard nothing back from YouTube, by the way, but I'm hoping it's just a 90-day ban. We've got a drive-through penalty for Kurt Camilleri for towing without approval at the start of the race, so he's been given a drive-through penalty for that. But as I was saying, hopefully in 90 days we'll be back over on RaceStars TV, and who knows, in 90 days I'm probably going to do about 70 broadcasts. I'll have to then re-upload, so we may just keep them on Taipan. We'll see how we go. But yeah, thanks Graham. We're back on YouTube, and it's good to be back. Facebook hasn't gone anywhere. So Daniel has now joined the chat, so is Steve Tonkin and Sebastian. Hello, how are you guys? Yeah, just for anyone that's just joining in now and watching on YouTube, to be able to comment, you've got to subscribe to Taipan Events, and then you've also just got to give it that 1 minute to keep the spam bots away. Let's jump in with Bradley Hudson now as he chases down Jared Steen. Jared Steen is a great competitor I've been following since the start of my days of broadcasting, and It's great to see him out there again tonight for Tanked SRT, pushing along well, 4 spots up into 7th, and Hudson, who we're on board with now, is closing in. You can see the way the cars are moving around, the back end just wobbling there for steam, and also having to take quite a few bites at the corner to try and just get the car to turn, to get it to rotate. So he's working very hard behind the wheel. Peter Morris as well now goes wheel to wheel with Justin, who is driving his way back through the field now, 3 spots up into 11th, 4 for Morris, and Lachlan in behind is up 6 spots into the top 13. Good little battle in the mid-pack here. This is 11th, 12th and 13th place, and a really tight little showing. So Morris down the inside will make the move stick. Can he hold it? He then really squares off the corner and sends it out down the hill. Very good. Daniel Yames here currently in silver service, supporting Zach before he gets behind the wheel. Good to see you racing tonight, Daniel. But Zach Mitchell, there he is for Drop Bear Motorsport in the silver class tonight. Remember, they are supporting Beyond Blue, hence the blue livery on these Drop Bear cars. How good does it look? A lot of detail is put into their liveries, and as always, they come out with full force when they race. And he's up 5 spots into the top 10 now, Zach Mitchell, doing a beautiful job. And continuing to go forward. Gavin Nin's next up the road for him as Matty jumps in some stars. And hello, Matt, welcome tonight. And what have we got there? Josh says, YouTube buying shares in SSDs, your poor hard drives. I'm actually, you know what, I haven't saved any of them. I've got to download them off Taipan events and re-upload them to RaceStars TV. That's if I ever get my channel back. I've got no idea. YouTube will not respond to me. And anyway, that's what happens, I guess. Facebook never went anywhere. Facebook has been there from day dot, and we're still cranking along. It would be nice if the 5,500 or so followers came and watched a couple of broadcasts, but hey, the important people here, you guys. And it's always fun as John Lee. What's going on, John Lee? Drop back to... Oh, dearie me. John Lee is broken. And that doesn't look good. He's lost the front wing. He's ripped the front wheels off the car too. And he has had a big accident down there, Johnny Lee. Just giving him a big rap, saying he was up 10 spots inside the top 10. He's gone off the track and had a big one. Let's have a quick look at a replay here and find out what went wrong. Here it is. So he lost the back end and then crossed into the fence. So big crash there for Johnny, the RaceKraft simulator driver. We'll have a look at the onboard, see if we can get a better angle of what happened there. So very slow moving crash and then into the fence and everything comes off. All the wheels are gone. That means usually it's out of the race for Johnny, sadly. So go back to live, and it looks like we're under a full course caution for the second time in this silver race tonight. Remember, 35 minutes is the silver race, so it's a shortened affair, which gives the drivers the opportunity to just probably duck in for a pit stop now, I would say, on lap 6. And there you go, your race leaders in the pits. So is Taylor, Cassidy and Rubok, and Johnny Monday stays out, so Johnny will go up into P1, which is good. The Beyond Blue logo is on the top of the nose, says Daniel Yaman. Let's see if we can just zoom in on that. If I go to the onboard, there you go. It's going to be upside down from this view, but there it is. Beyond Blue. Great to see that representation in the sim world on some sim racing cars. I know I did a charity drive for Sane. Oh my God, it's a long time ago now. It's probably 10 years ago. I drove from Cairns to Hobart to raise, I think, $8,000 it was for Sane, which is a similar charity to Beyond Blue, and I can't speak highly enough of those great organisations out there that are always ready with a set of ears when people need to talk. And it's a very important part of not just modern society. Many years it was neglected, so it's great that there is the opportunity now with these great places. You can just ring up and dial a number. So big thanks to the Drop Bear crew for highlighting that. And let's take a couple of minutes now while we're under caution just to quickly thank tonight's sponsors as well. And 30% off. Without these round sponsors, this series it'd be hard to go. Obviously we got great support from VRS and Johnny at RaceKraft, but let's quickly watch that race. Here it is. I'll just let it speak for itself. zapwoodstudios.com.au. If you need a last minute Mother's Day present, go and hook up over there today, and there's a link in the description for 30% off, which will get you a great deal. So please go and use it and support people that support these series and support this series. Hello Robert and hello Andrew as well. Has Brett Barker put his Zimmer frame in the rack? He's smashed that car tonight, unfortunately. So under caution here on lap 7. Most of the drivers have now taken a stop except for the top 5. We've got a wave around there for one of the drivers going around the outside. That was Nick Schmellenberg. Off he goes. What do I think? Every time I say Nick Schmellenberg's name, I think of the guy that landed the plane in the Hudson. I don't know why, sorry Nick. But the JWME Motorsport driver out there tonight getting his lap back, which is a great thing because he can hopefully get around onto the back of this train and maybe get back into the race. VRS code word tonight, if you've been one of the people that jump on every week and put it in, and Jacob Mabry was the last person to do it, is a goulash. So goulash. And just before the broadcast I thought I'd better actually go and have a look at what goulash is. I knew it was some sort of stew. I'm not a fan, it doesn't look very inviting, but I'm sure if you're hungry and you've got plenty of bread handy, a couple of nice fresh buns, some white bread, maybe some goulash would be nice to slap on. But goulash is tonight's code word, so of course it is spelt, and let me make sure I get it exactly right for you, but it's Goulash, goulash. So into that code you can get a 1-year subscription with VRS for worth $99 US. We're going to draw that at the final broadcast, which is pretty cool. Thanks Robert, by the way. I'm going to try and put these comments up on the screen. They're not working tonight. Let's go and see what's going on with Facebook here. I love when Facebook decides to have a bit of a shocker. Let's see if this one works. Nah, nothing's working. Right, we'll go back to the basics here, I think. See if we can get something happening. But of course, Monday leading here. Now this has put a bit of pressure on Malloy, although Malloy is the top driver that has stopped. So I presume he'll be okay. He'll just need to hope everyone else needs to stop. Can they get through with the no-stop strategy? Had quite a few laps already behind the safety car tonight. Ben Arthur's now moved up into 7th as well, and Arthur has stopped, so he's running 3rd of the drivers that has stopped. So that's a nice little job and a good strategy. He was 8 seconds in the lane too, so he took about twice the amount of fuel as both Malloy and Rubok, which should put him in good stead to bring it home. F3A, you can still join up and be a part of this. They run the silver server first, and then we head across for 9 o'clock where we do the gold, which is the best of the best. We'll see 40 drivers tonight take part in that, so it is mega when you start getting 40 drivers racing around the racetrack. It'll be so cool tonight, so make sure you don't go anywhere for that one. It's going to be a good run. Expect to see plenty more overtaking. Righto, let's go back to green. At last, it felt like an eternity. 17 minutes into the race now. We're back green on lap 9. And John Monday leads us away. Doyle and Steen, 2nd and 3rd. And in the background you can see there is the man who is the top driver, who has also now stopped for fuel, the DFR entrant of Sean Malloy. So he's in good steads here to go on with a win if the other drivers have to stop. Mickey Rubok right on his tail, and then you've got Ben Arthur, Cassidis, and Zach Mitchell into the top 10. He's into 9th now, although battling hard with Lachlan, who goes down the inside, moves up into 9th place. Mitchell back to 10th now, but let's jump on board with Mitchell as he runs down the hill to try and get back past up into that 9th position. He had to back out of the throttle there for the left-hander coming up. It's very easy to get that wrong, and sometimes it's a one-way ticket to the fence. In fact, that's where John Lee had that little crash a little bit earlier on, so you've got to be a little bit careful down through there. Hey, Facebook's working for us now. There's Tyson Hammer's comment saying, man, I miss running in this series. It's a great series, which makes me wonder, is this going to work for us? Hey, hello, there's our VRS competition, by the way, so you can just see down the bottom of your screen, there's the code word tonight, goulash. Fantastic that that's going to work for me. Let's go back to the lead battle with Monday and Doyle in tow. Oh, we had a spinner there, didn't we? That was Steen off the track, I think. It is. Coming together, is it Steen and Hudson? Hudson's the other one. They've just come together, those two. Big incident for them. And they've just dropped right to the rear of field. And I think Hudson, unfortunately, the JWM car might have to go back into the pit lane and get that repaired. So plenty of damage. And it was Steen. I'm not sure who was at fault there, as we see a little bit of a battle for the lead now between Monday and Doyle. And Doyle having a run down the hill we go. He's got the wide line, the good entry. Monday's really squared that off. Will it hurt him on the exit? Look at the tight apex there from Doyle. Holds it well, but doesn't make up any gains on John Monday, who's now still 2/10 in front. Malloy up into third now and closing the margin down to the top two. Remember, they have stopped the pit strategy. Up on your screen now shows the top two yet to stop. Everyone else has made their pit stop. Arthur came in on lap 1, so that worked out well for him, didn't it? Hudson under investigation for the incident with Jared Steen. Let's have a quick look at the replay of that one. You might be able to make a decision for yourself, but it is Bradley Hudson who's under investigation for this one. Here it goes. So Hudson was trailing Steen at this point, and he's going to get a good exit out of the corner, and I reckon he's going to go for the inside line here, and there's the contact. He's probably never going to be able to slow that car up, and that's where they got together. That's why he's under investigation, and I'd say probably a penalty pending for that little manoeuvre. Back to live John Monday, 20 minutes in, only 15 minutes to go. How quick does the silver race go? We have a 50-minute race coming up for gold. So you get that extra little bit of time there, which just helps pad it out. Drive-through penalty for Hudson. There you go. So very quick decision from the stewards there, and he will have to come through the pits and serve that penalty soon. Otherwise, he'll get further reprimanded there. Let's feeling hungry. Let's go, Christopher Mitchell. We'll have to catch up with those guys again. I'm looking forward to gold tonight, so we can see all the shenanigans going on in the RaceKraft room. Rubox had a fantastic run so far. Let's jump on board with Mickey sitting in 4th place now, and about 1.4 seconds off that little battle for the lead. Remember, 2 of those cars out in front though need to stop, so Mickey on pace once again for a podium, which would be very, very well deserved, especially after what happened last week with that big incident. And the pace at the moment of 1:37.1 on the last lap for Rubok. Now that, I think, included an off track, because the actual best lap time didn't count. You can see it's in fact 1:36.3 was the best lap from Sean Malloy. That's the fastest lap of the race in front, but it was a good lap from Rubok. It didn't count due to, I'd say, an off track. Gives you an unofficial fast lap, but doesn't go towards the actual fast laps. Brewer says bad luck for Steenie. Yeah, very bad luck. No raw chicken curry like ScoMo. Oh, what's the story with that? I actually only just caught a little bit of that this afternoon on social media. Surely ScoMo didn't really cook a raw chicken, did he? Got to be a G up. Here we go, overtake time. Getting alongside Doyle, having a look. He goes neck and neck here down the inside. Sean Doyle slots through now into the lead of the race, and I reckon Malloy is thinking about also having a go. Here we go, let's jump on board in visor cam and just watch this battle as he closes right up onto the back of Monday. Down the hill we go. Let's have a look at the speed as it climbs. 160 k's at the apex, 170, 180, climbing to 200 clicks. Right in the slipstream now, pulls out, gets a little bit of fresh air for the left-hander. Blind apex over the crest of the hill, the back end of the car. Complaining, you can hear the screech of tyres. He's really got it wound to the apex, so as he comes through there at about 130 kph on the mid-corner. Once you get up to around 170 kph before the little chicane, watch the sausage curb on the left-hand side there. That will send you into the fence. And 150 clicks at the apex as we now get down towards the final part of this lap. And it's a twisty little section. Once again, he's out of the throttle. Try not to make contact with the back of Monday. Now we get down towards that sequence of 180-degree corners. It's a 90 degrees first of all to the right, and then we go through 180 to the left and 180 to the right to get you back onto the pit straight away. Malloy, big mistake there from Monday, and he loses the position. So a big snap on the mid corner from Monday put him back. Now behind Sean Malloy, and he pits as well. So Monday says, right, those tyres have had it. I'm coming into the pits and I'm getting some new ones as we head towards the last now 11 minutes of this race. What a great race circuit. Doyle at the moment in control as he goes through turn 1 and starts to bring it down the hill once again under the Rolex signage. And the elevation change here is massive. As we look back from Doyle's car, the white knuckle sim racing driver. So he's yet to stop, and the only driver out there that has not stopped. So he understands very well that Malloy behind him will not need to stop again. He'll fly through, and I'm just interested in knowing why Ben Arthur took twice as much fuel as the other competitors around him, because right now he's sitting 2.4 seconds off the back of Malloy, which is effectively for the race lead. But he took an extra 4 seconds worth of fuel, which would have had him in the lead of the race. So something's gone wrong there. It could have been a glitch with iRacing. It could have just been the fact that he pressed the wrong button and took some tyres when he didn't want them, something like that. Easy to do, easy mistakes to make. Sponsor again tonight, Sapwood Studios. Big thanks to them. 30% off. Go hook it up. There's your code word down the bottom. I've linked that in the description. Go buy your mum something nice for Mother's Day and enjoy more F3A in the future, because without the sponsors, this series could not continue on. Big thanks to Johnny too, RaceKraft. If you haven't checked out the RaceKraft rigs, please go and do so. They're incredible. I keep talking to him every now and then when I think about changing my setup. I need to get him to design me a broadcaster rig, and then I always chicken out because one, he's so busy we don't end up finishing the conversation, but two, it's very hard to contemplate when I'm so busy pulling all this stuff apart and resetting it up again. But one day I will nail down Johnny to help me design a broadcast rig for RaceStars TV. Send some money his way and get this thing done, because what I've got now is good, but it's a bit of a hybrid between what is a racing simulator, a flight simulator, and then a multi-TV studio with about 7 screens going on here. So one day I'll get you some pictures as well. But big thanks to RaceKraft Simulations, like I said, and John Lee for his involvement in this series. The battle for first place, 0.8 of a second, and Sean Malloy now back in the lead. He won't need to stop. Mickey effectively in P2, running in third at the moment with Arthur, who will move up into third once Sean Doyle does stop in the next 7 or 8 minutes. Steve Kasidas had a good race, although he did drop about 4 or 5 places. He's now back into 5th. And then the biggest mover and shaker out there, not too far behind, 1.9 seconds back up the road, is the RaceKraft Simulations entrant of Andrew Lachlan, up in 6th now, up 13 spots in the race. So great effort, the number 15. Just been chipping away, crosses the line there at 37.7, so a little bit off the pace of Kasidas in front, but on for a P5 if things work out, as I think they will once all the pit stops happen shortly. So we'll just keep an eye on their progress. Back with your race lead. In fact, we found a battle down the pack. It's Camilleri who got that penalty earlier on, and Nins. So Gav and Nins now fighting on. Let's jump on board with Gav as we run around the bottom end of the circuit here, about halfway through a lap. Lucas Burt behind him as well. Just watch your way, flicks it into the left-hander here. Takes a little bit of curb. That's where Lee hit the wall earlier on, to the right-hander now. Once again, the cars, even on this high downforce setup, they're they look like they're biting when they first flick in and turn into the corner. And they seem to release and have to reattach. Drive-through penalty for Jared Steen for causing this on lap 14, so his night's gone from bad to worse as well. As Justin Bizot also goes off the track slightly, comes back on. He's up 7 spots into the top 7 now. Good performance from the privateer tonight. Running a generic F3A livery, is he? Trying to have a look there. Yeah, it is. So nice. It's a great thing that Dave Roberts did. He made all these generic F3A liveries that the different drivers could pick for this series, which is absolutely fantastic. It just gives a really good, colourful look when all the cars have these custom liveries, but they don't necessarily need to go and spend hours and hours creating their own. Obviously, teams that have their own sponsors want their own liveries. If you just want to get out there and have a bit of fun and race, there's about, I can't remember what it was, if it was 30 or 40, there's a lot of them on Trading Paints that you can just go and pick, which is fantastic. So it's all pretty spread out. If you go to the intervals on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see 9/10 of a second is probably the closest we've got. In fact, down in 13th place with John Monday, who's just coming back into the battle now with Zach Mitchell. That's the closest battle we've got on the racetrack, 7/10 of a second. Everything else is spread out well over a second, which is not the usual F3A style, I've got to say. Maybe it'll be a little bit different in the Gold Series tonight, but generally it's much closer in battles. I wonder if there's a lot of aero wash here at this circuit, and especially with the high downforce setup, drivers are just struggling to keep it in check. 5 minutes to go though, or 5.5 minutes to go. Oh dearie me, that's a big one, and that's Lucas Burt. He's come together with, I'm trying to see who it was. The Zach Mitchell and John Monday had just gone past him at the point of impact, so whether or not they were involved, we'll get a look. He's just down there. I wonder if he'll get permission to tow here, if we'll have a late safety car. I'd say he'll get permission to tow. He does. So he goes back to the pits, back to the future style. Let's have a quick look at the replay. So I think it's another case of the back end will let go here. He gets up on the curb and straight where John Lee hit the fence as well. Big impact. And one for the highlight reels, that one. Let's have another look from a different angle. Here's the overhead shot. You'll just see, watch this, gets up on the curb, back end, disengages and bang into the fence, turns it into a canoe. And hence why he is now out of this race. So unlucky there for Lucas, but he drops right out now. And with 4 minutes to go, he won't be getting back into that car, that's for sure. Sean Malloy's done a great job tonight. Started pole, remember 1 second clear of the rest of the field. That was the dominance in qualifying. But now he has converted it to what looks like it'll be a quite easy race win. Daniel says, unfortunately, a mistake from Zach, just as I have to leave. But I'll keep an eye on him here in the broadcast. So good luck tonight in the race, Daniel. Good to have you watching on, man, and then obviously jumping in the car shortly for drop bear to have a crack yourself. That's what we want to see. As Malloy comes around, should you get maybe 2-3 more laps in this race? Is there any late charges? Steve Casillas can now see Ben Arthur within half a second, so 3/10 in fact, as he closes right up onto the back of Ben Arthur's car, the privateer. Can he move himself up into P4? Now we know in a series like this, if you're in 4th, you've got a high chance of getting a podium. You never know what's going to happen in the end. As Sean Dillon now does stop from 2nd, so it will move Arthur up into a podium position. And maybe that's why Steve Casillas is getting a wriggle on here. He can sense a podium. It was 3/10 better on lap 15, 2/10 better on lap 16, and 1 millisecond only better on lap 17 as we head into the final couple of laps of the race. So podium on offer. Arthur and Casillas will battle that out. Rubok looks like he's now well enough away from them to feel pretty confident with a P2. The 2-1-2 heads down the hill, and the gap to Malloy 8.1 seconds. What a dominating performance again from the DFR driver tonight. It's disappeared off into the distance. Spike's in the house. Must be a track you've done any laps at, Spike Goddard. Hungaroring. In the F3 cars, they're dancing around tonight. You can see the difference in the rear wing from what we saw at Monza, where we had the little paper thin rear wing. Tonight they've got the high downforce setup, Many laps there for Spike. Good to have you in the chat, man. Hope you're doing well. We must ride our motorbikes one of these days. But Sean Malloy has dominated the race. He's done a 36.3, his fastest lap, a 1 minute 36.39. And last lap around was a 1 minute 36.43. So the consistency of his laps is right up there. And it looks like we've got an overtake here, have we not? It's Casitas and Arthur. And Steve Casitas has got through up into a podium now, P3. Can he run away from Ben Arthur? And into the pits. Arthur's in the lane. So for a second stop tonight, I reckon he's miscalculated his fuel, which doesn't make sense because remember I said he took twice as much fuel as everyone else. He took 8 seconds worth of fuel. He's now had to go in for a stop, and that puts Lachlan now up into the top 4. And we should be, I would say, 2 laps to go here. So this lap and 1 more. If the fact that it is time certain this race, 35 minutes. And obviously if you cross the line and it's 34 minutes and 54 seconds, you're going to do another whole lap, which needs to be factored into fuel calculations. Looking for some smaller battles going on. This is Nins in 6th place, ahead of Lockie Taylor, and then Sean Doyle, who was right up there in the top couple of drivers. After that stop, comes out now in 8th place. Stopped on lap 17. Camilleri also in for another stop on 17. Schmallenberger as well, down in 14th place, also stopping on lap 17. So we had 2 safety car periods, which to me would say that they've been able to save a fair bit of fuel. But, oh dear, is Casitas off? He is. So there you go. Now Lachlan's into a podium spot. Bizot goes through as well, and Steve Casitas has just made a meal of what could have been a podium tonight. Let's have a look at a replay and see what he did wrong. But he may have just thrown away. Oh, he got on the dirt there, so he got dirt on the tyres. It's on the racetrack, and the back end's going to let go, I reckon. And change direction. There it goes. It was a clumsy little spin. And there goes 3rd and 4th place now as it puts him back into the top 5. Sadly, that could be the end of his podium chances tonight with only a lap to go after this one. Malloy already about a fifth of the way through the final lap of this event now for the Silver F3A World Series. And it looks like it's going to be Malloy winning this one with Rubok and then Lachlan battling out for the minor places. Although Bizot's now got himself within 0.5 of a second of a podium. So can the RaceKraft entry here hang on? You'd love that too. Flying the flag for RaceKraft Simulations in P3. It'll be a great little added bonus, I'm sure. I'm sure John Lee will put the big check in the mail for representing the team well. But let's not miss the action up the front. Not that there's a lot of action, but a quality drive. The DFR purple driver here of Sean Malloy. He's been on form tonight from qualifying. Was a second quicker in qualifying, and he's going to bring it home with a race win. No one's going to stop him from here, surely, through the final couple of corners. Now that purple and black entry looks incredible in the sunlight here in Hungary. I wonder if he had his goulash before the race tonight. Looks like something that would make you have to stop for a few pit stops, goulash, I reckon. Right, here we go through the final corner. The checker flag waves as a race win by over 11 seconds for Malloy. Incredible job. Rubok's going to get second tonight. Let's have a quick look as Mickey comes around the final corner. Pretty happy with that. Finally on the podium. And Rubok gets a P2. And what a great drive, up 8 spots as well to be on the podium tonight. Excellent and pretty excited. Good to see. You got to love that with people that love their racing. Mickey is pumped. Fantastic. The burnouts happen down there as well as Malloy rips into a skid. Lachlan gets P3 for RaceKraft, so he does hang on for a P3. Excellent job. And then Bizot gets 4th, Casitas 5th, Taylor 6th, Doyle, Nins, Monday and Arthur, your top 10. How good was that? Obviously we've got some interviews to come up before we head across to the Gold Series server for the final big race tonight. 40 drivers getting lined up ready to race in that one. We'll have some interviews shortly. Let's go and hook it up here. But tonight, Sean Malloy, too good. He's taking the win. so your results up on the screen now, and you have a quick look at those. Malloy with the win, 11.6 seconds. Mickey, P2, and Andrew rounding out your top 3. We'll head over and get some drivers to chat to, and here they are now, your race winner, and making it look very easy tonight. Congratulations, Sean. That was a great run, man.
Hey, Luke. Thank you. Yeah, look, normally I race in the gold, and I just my wife's birthday was on the weekend, so I didn't have much time to practice, and the quali lap you do in pre-quali is where you end up. So,
and yeah, man, a good qualifying lap, obviously a second clear of the field. So did you feel like it was going to be an easy run and you just would be able to sit back and relax, or was there a couple of points there with the safety cars where you thought, hey, I'm going to have to work hard here?
Yeah, look, there's a few guys in the Silver League that pop up in gold, so I thought there'd be a chance with when the safety car came out and it closed the gap. Yeah, sure. I mean, and it's racing, anything can happen. For
sure, mate, and good job. Mickey hasn't come in for a chat yet, so we've got Andrew.
He's still doing burnouts.
We're just watching the replay of the start too, and that big crash, I think you avoided it, Sean. You're in front of it. Mickey just snuck through. That was incredibly close. But Andrew, talk us through your race for P3 tonight, man, because you had to put a little bit of a fight on at the end there as well. Up 16 spots from the start.
Yeah, g'day guys. First time on the podium, so
well done.
Great. Normally down the back with Johnny Lee, team sponsor, fighting for the last positions, but managed to avoid that first lap chaos at the straight and just weave my way through, which was good. Thanks to Steve for letting me have a spin out the last lap there and letting me get P3. Appreciate that.
And a big check in the mail from John Lee, for a top 3?
Oh, absolutely, mate. There's definitely a bonus check coming now.
Look good, man. But like I said, up 16 spots, so you had to work for that tonight. A bit of good strategy as well. You stopped on lap 6, so an early stop, 6 seconds worth of fuel, and still got it home up in the top 3. So well done, man.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, just grabbed a little bit of fuel, splash and dash. Didn't know if the safety car was going to come in or not, so I thought I'd be safe, but it paid off in the end.
Excellent. Now, I'm not sure Mickey's going to come in, so we'll go across to Sean and we'll do some thank yous, man, before I head across to the gold service. So, Sean, who would you like to thank, mate, for the DFR team and your supporters?
All of the DFR guys, they're all in gold tonight, so good luck to them. I'd like to thank John Lee, who is the main sponsor of the whole league. And if you want to buy a rig, get one from John, because I've got a few mates with them and they're awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, the other sponsors, VRS and you, Roo, and all the race control team, because they put in a lot of work outside of the race. For sure. Thanks, man, and it's been a pleasure watching you. Hopefully back in gold next week, and happy birthday to the wife too. Thank you. Excellent. And Andrew, who would you like to thank, mate? P3 tonight for RaceKraft Simulations.
Yeah, mate. So yeah, shout goes out to Johnny Lee, mate. Appreciate all your support. We started this little business up almost eight years ago, and it's grown into what it is today, which is absolutely brilliant. Thanks to you, Luke and Roo. What a great series, mate. Been a couple of seasons just now, so great to have the first podium. And good luck to my other RaceKraft boys in gold, Chris, Gianni and Kieran tonight. So all the best, guys. Take out the 1, 2, 3. Excellent. We'll be definitely catching up with them soon. So thanks to our podium tonight. Sean Malloy with the win. Mickey, who hasn't joined us, unfortunately, but great win. Great excitement too. You could see during the burnouts. Absolutely love that. And then Andrew, congratulations, mate. Top 3 on the podium. So 1, 2, 3. We'll catch you guys next time. Yeah, thanks, Luke. Cheers. All right, that's your top 3. Let's quickly now scoot over. And I've got to get the next server up and running. So I'm going to run a couple of ads here. It takes me about 2 minutes to switch servers. So don't go anywhere, folks. I'll be back with you shortly. First of all, RaceKraft. Check it out.
Introducing the RaceKraft PT1, custom-built full chassis racing simulator. The design project, codenamed The Cage, an 80/40 extrusion chassis sitting on top of a Sigma Integrale DK2 Plus 4-point full motion actuator system. No compromises in the cockpit of the PT1 simulator. To maximise the experience, we start with a 49-inch ultra-wide monitor for the greatest field of view in a small footprint of the simulator, down to the SimuCube wheelbase that's tucked up and behind the monitors with SimCore extensions to get things out of the driving area. Everything is connected to a Cube Controls GTX steering wheel with the built-in dash and all the extra button functions available at your fingertips. Driving through the Raceworks S1 pedals, the potentiometer throttle and the 2 hydraulic pedals for brake and clutch ensures you maximize the feel underfoot, and seating yourself into an OMP HTER bucket racing seat with OMP belts connected to a G-belt tensioner to provide that extra feeling and the heightened experience while you're driving. Additional interfaces and accessories in the PT1, we have twin butt kickers, one on either side of the OMP seat, as well as a Jinx sequential shifter, the SimPush Race Logic timer to the left-hand side, a RaceKraft built-in WinSim kit with Philips Hue lighting and a built-in soundbar, plus the OMP side net to finish off the experience in the PT1. The RaceKraft PT1, build number 1, the ultimate in sim racing experience, combining the best products in the market with the passionate, no compromise approach that goes beyond racing simulation.
Part 2 of the evening, folks, to the F3A World Series, round number 11. The Hungaroring it is, and now the gold server. And the time to get down to the racetrack with our fastest competitors here in F3s in Australia. And they're just going through their final preparation here for the warm-up session. The qualifying results have come out this way. And on top, it is Ben Dutton for 5:05. Look at that, a front row lockout with a 1:34.4. How about the lap time? Credits with Dennis Cho. On the second row of the grid, Benjamin Roberts will start out at P3. Daniel Yeaman, great drive up into 4th place with Holko, Hardy, O'Gorman in the top 10 in 7th. Mazoka, Lutsu and Wazell there rounding out your top 10. Good to see Chris back tonight racing for Pulse Racing as well. And plenty of other drivers will go through shortly. Christopher Mitchell down there in 18th place. We'll go through the full grid and we get set to go racing in about 15 seconds time. Daniel Yeaman puts himself in the top 3 or 4 tonight for the race. The Drop Bear Motorsport Blue team, supporting Beyond Blue. Fantastic. Let's head down, let's get the RaceStars theme song on, and let's go to the grid for this round number 11 of this World Series F3A. So Ben Dutton on pole tonight with Dennis Cho running at your top 2 as Robertson, Yeaman off the second row, Holko and Hardy with O'Gorman, Mazoka, Lutsu and Wazell your top 10. Jacob Mabry starts from 11th tonight with Will Ryan out of 12th place on the grid. 13th, Scotty Newman with Rob Kratz, Dixon and Clayton your top 16. Shane Russell starts out of 17th place tonight with Christopher Mitchell 18th, and it's Edwards and Rewald, Barnes and Schmallenberg down there in 22nd place. Tyson Broad in 23rd with Kalen Arthur, your top 24. 25th on the grid. We'll go to John Baldwin tonight with Marcus Knitska, Robbie Griffiths and Rhett Wadby down there in 28th. There's Hawkins and Ellis on the top 30. Then it's Crespo Ramisa, down in 32nd with Tom Wilkinson having a drive tonight from 33rd on the grid. Jack Marra, Laddick way down in 35th place. Scott Pocock 36th. 37th on the grid, it's Matterford, Dave Roberts in the safety car, and Zach Mitchell at the back. Let's get set to go racing here. Round number 11 of the series is the F3A cars. Grid up, the revs rise. Let's get set to go racing, and I tell you what, they're off on their way already. Good getaway from Dutton, and Cho jumped straight in behind. I reckon that was a planned team effort to cover off any resistance or cover off any inside runs here from Roberts. He's going to have to go to the outside. Ben Roberts at turn 1, having a look the long way around. And they go wheel to wheel. Yeaman's dropped a few places off the start. Back into 5th now for him. So he dropped 1 place as they head down the hill. Good drive though. We didn't have a big crash like we saw in Silver. The getaway from Dutton was perfect. Didn't get any wheel spin. And Roberts now finds himself back into 2nd as they run really wide through there. A couple of cars making a little bit of contact. 3 wide in the background. Like a hive of bees. We got a spinner off into the gravel trap. Was that Yeaman? It looked like a blue car. I don't think it was Yeaman. I think it was Cho, so it was Dennis. He's now rejoining from way off the circuit, but has dropped all the way down 25 spots to the bottom half of the field as Dutton continues to lead. Olko 3rd. I'm having a look way back. Kieran Ellis is up 4 spots into 26th on debut, and Jaden Laddick already 5 spots up into the top 30. Remember, this man here leads the championship, and he's all the way back in 30th tonight, having to come from the rear of the grid. At the front though, Dutton weaving around. I'm not sure if that's frowned upon by the stewards, but he's weaving around trying to get some tyre temp. And I'm just watching to see if we've got a safety car, because Wilkinson, it looks like he's crashed out of the race. So having a listen to the engine revs here, and are we still at full beans? I think we are. So no safety car is being called just yet that I know about, because Wilkinson's now gone back to the pit lane. The car wreckage is being cleared, and we continue to race into lap 2 of 42 from standing start for Dutton. Roberts right on his tail as they head down again towards turn 1. Roberts has a look, dives out of the slipstream, thinks about it down the inside, but then tucks back in behind. Yeaman holds on to 4th with O'Gorman. A great start for him, up 2 spots. He's already into the top 5 as well, with Lutzu making up 3 spots. Newton up 6 into the top 7. And then it's Wazell, Crouch, and Christopher Mitchell has already made up a stack of places. So Mitchell for RaceKraft finds himself now up into the top 10. 8 places he's made up already. Let's jump on board with Mitchell now as he heads in behind Rob Crouch, just trying to keep this consistent and flying along nicely. He's already made great gains. He can now just consolidate a little bit, maybe save a bit of fuel. You predict probably there'll be a safety car in the next 5-6 laps. There's a car off the track there. That's Rhys O'Gorman, sadly, who's gone around. So O'Gorman's gone around for the DSR team. He rejoins now down outside the top 20. We've got another car who's spun around there. It might be Edwards, I think. A couple of slow-moving cars here, just trying to get back into it. Tyson Broad's there as well. They had to wait an eternity, those drivers, to try and get back out there onto the racetrack. And sadly, that's cost them a stack of positions. Dutton, who's leading, is only just staying in front of Roberts here. Roberts keeping him honest. And there's Holko going through, Yeaman behind him, and Lutzu in tow. You look back to then Crouch and Mitchell. Mitchell up into 9th now, so he moves up another position inside the top 10. This is a great start, just what they needed after not the best qualifying effort. As we have a quick look at Lutzu. He's in 5th place now, and he's got a nice little gap between himself and Wazell behind. He can now concentrate on chasing after Yeaman, who's just up the road. There is Yanni, who's driven so well throughout this championship. He needs another good result tonight, though, as he turns down the hill. His focus now will be on Daniel Yeaman. Can he catch him? Can he overtake him? The top 4 streaking off into the distance up ahead. You don't want to lose sight of them too early in this race, because the quality of these drivers, you never know. We might get through it without a safety car. It has happened before. As Tyson Broad, I think, has just crashed again. Where is Broad? Will Ryan's in the fence as well. This has been a place we've seen lots of crashes tonight. Will Ryan, that could be a safety car, because that isn't going anywhere. So he's broken down there up against the barrier. And Tyson Broad had a crash at the same moment. I wonder if they got together, those two. Let's have a quick look at Broad's incident first of all. and this might tell the story. So, okay, Broad's already limping home with broken suspension, so I don't think that's got anything to do with Will Ryan's incident. Let's have a quick look at Will Ryan and work out why he went off the track, as Broad was doing a little bit of manoeuvring down there by himself, and Will Ryan disappearing, reappearing. Oh, so he's had some sort of neck code, I reckon. That was an interesting one. It broke, fixed itself. That put him out of the race, sadly, and we'll have to head back to the pits. Let's go back to live and pick it up. We are still racing here, or have we gone to yellow? No, we're still green. So far 4 laps in, 5 minutes into the 50-minute race, and we are green flag racing. Yeaman and Holko. What's happened to Ben Holko? He's gone around, I think. He's slow out of the first corner. And Wazell also gets through. We've got a really good grouping of cars now. Lutzu, Wazell is there as well. And then you got Holko, Newton, and Christopher Mitchell is now engaged on the back of this battle. So he finds himself 8th place, up 10 positions, and only 2/10 off the back of Scott Newton. Can he get himself up another couple of positions before we get the safety car? Remember, high downforce tonight. They will need to stop for fuel at least once in this race. Tyre wear, well, with the high downforce, it should be okay, but you still, look at that dirt on the circuit. That was there for the other series as well. It's going to get kicked up, and you've got to be careful. If you dirty the tyres up through that point of the racetrack, you've got all these sweepers now, and then oh dear me, has Jaden Laddick had a crash? This could be huge for the championship if I'm reading this correctly. Where is he? He's got broken suspension, Laddick. That is crabbing. It's crabbing its way back to the pit lane. So Jaden Laddick, who is leading this championship, coming into tonight's round with the number 1 on the car. This has gone from bad to worse. I'm not sure what happened with the qualifying effort for him tonight, but he's doing an incredible job to drive this back to the pits. I've never seen anything like this in iRacing. It's definitely got broken suspension, but he's to be able to keep that sort of speed is incredible. So how's the skill of this bloke? He's got full left hand down, and he's driving it at a pretty phenomenal pace for such damage. I think most drivers would be off the racetrack by this point. He's just got to get it back to the pits. He'll get what's called a fast repair and hopefully get back out onto the circuit. But how far back to the next competitors? Has he got the leaders closing in on him? They're about 30 seconds back, so he should be clear. He can't get it through the left-hander, but that's a real shame for him tonight. This man up into the top server tonight, Kieran Ellis, finds himself in 31st place. So we had a good chat with him last week when he drove in the silver and he had that big crash. He's got a broken front wing by the looks of that. That looks like it's ready to fold under the car. It's definitely flopping around that front wing. So look at it, it's detached or half detached, and that won't be doing him any good at all. So he's got to limp that to the pits as well. So Ben Dutton continues to lead out in front. There he is, man of the moment, 0.4 of a second ahead of Ben Roberts for the championship. This is mega tonight. This could see Benjamin Roberts get very, very close to moving towards the top of the championship. Just running over what the series points are at coming into this round. Jaden Laddick was on 1,434 points versus Benjamin Roberts on 1,320. So for Laddick to get a DNF or to finish right at the bottom tonight, that would make a huge difference to the championship. And Lutzu as well in the background there, swerving his way down the pit lane, trying to break the toe of Wazell. He's also in P3 in the championship on 1,268 points. That'll also be good gains for him up against Laddick, who has just looked so incredibly quick throughout this series. A drive-through penalty there for car 23, James Rewalt, causing an incident on lap 4. So a bit of strife for him as Scott Newton now finds the fence. Down in 15th place, he just comes back onto the track now with no damage that I can see there, but that was a bit of a risky rejoin. Kalen Arthur goes through up into the top 17 now, behind Chris Barnes and Jake Dixon, the top 15. So it's a busy little run down the order. Let's have a quick look at your race leaders though. Roberts sitting in second. Let's jump on board with Benny now. So he was 4 100ths off the fastest lap time of Dutton on the previous lap, a 1:35.5 in race trim. It's pretty incredible. The conditions out there tonight suited to this sort of racing. It's 22 degrees ambient, 29 degrees track temp, cloudy sky. 10 a.m. is the morning time that they've set for this server in iRacing. but it looks like the track is in a great condition to go fast with a 35.5 best lap time. We're going to rip through some laps in this 50-minute event. We are nearly 10 minutes in, and so far we've been able to get through without a safety car. Will Ryan's back in the pits, Tom Wilkinson also back in the pits. Both those drivers have had an incident. Daniel Yeaman just dropping them back a little bit as we get another fastest lap of the race, a 35.5 again. Yeaman just crosses the line on a 36.1, so about half a second off the pace in the drop bear car. But respectable drive considering Daniel. I know he's a very busy man in the commentary booth as much as racing these days over on SimSpeed, and now tonight jumping back into the race boots and having a run. He's showing that he hasn't lost any of that touch in form, and he's 2.3 seconds up the road from Gianni Luzzi, who has been a star contender in this series as well. And there is Luzzi having a crack. Let's jump on board with him for a moment. And in fact, let's jump in visor cam and ride out half a lap here on board with Luzzi. Gianni behind the wheel, good to watch him race, and he's doing a good job, isn't he? P4 at this stage as he continues on trying to chase down Yeaman. Let's have a look at the lap times. It's a 36.2, 36.4, so he's dropping back from Yeaman, and he's dropping into the clutches of a man that's made up 5 spots tonight for Pulse Racing Team, Chris Wazell. Century batteries on the side of that car. It's been a great drive from him and representing his team well tonight, up into the top 5. But Peter Morris comes in and says, how crazy was the start of the silver race? It was pretty crazy, I've got to say. John Lee says, it was great, Peter. I went from 19th to 10th. Didn't help though. Johnny, I saw you up in 10th, mate, and I gave you a huge rap, and then all of a sudden you're in the fence, so sorry about that. Commentator's curse. But we continue just to watch these drivers tick off the laps now as we head through onto lap 8, 12 minutes into the race. Ben Dutton still leads. Don't forget tonight too, folks, we've got some great sponsors on board, of course, in this series, and tonight our round sponsor is Sapwood Studio. So definitely, if you can head across and give them a little bit of thanks. Of course, they are doing 30% off. There it is, the round sponsor. 30% off for the viewers tonight, excluding postage. And all you got to do is click on that link using the coupon FRG30, and you get 30% off. There's some cool stuff on there. You can have a look, Mother's Day gifts, all that sort of stuff. But if they see a few purchases come in from F3A competitors, they're going to think, right, let's get behind more sim racing. That was worthwhile. So go check that out. And of course, you've also got your VRS competition tonight with the code word Goulash and $99 US. I can tell you right now, the last person that put the entry in for that is Kim Wall. So what on Kim and Brett as well tonight. Keep those entries coming in, because that's a fantastic competition to win, especially if you want to get faster at your racing, because VRS will help you with that. Let's look for some battles down the order a little bit. That's your top 2 we're watching now. Let's go all the way back down to 17th place. And watching Chris Barnes here for Tanked SRT, the Apex Racing Academy driver of Scott Newton, is just behind him. And this is getting a little bit tasty between these two. It's now a gap of 0.2 of a second. Newton's dropped 4 in the race, and in front of him, Chris Barnes is up 5 spots. And he's been closing in though, Newton. 0.3 he took out of Chris Barnes on the previous lap. And I reckon he's getting ready for an overtake. Good hold of some opposite lock there. So the back ends of the cars detaching quite often on the mid-corner. Watch through here as he picks up some dust again. Continues on his way. Kaniska went wide for a second there. Pace Syndicate driver, one of my favourite liveries out there as always. Deadhead on the side. great to see the Pace Syndicate team well represented throughout this F3A World Series and doing a great job. They're consistently up there. Marcus tonight and his teammates. Christopher Mitchell now moves into 7th place as well. We saw Christopher showing off that fantastic RaceKraft rig. And now he finds himself moving towards the top 6. If he can catch Holko here, he's now only 6/10 behind Ben Holko for Nurture Queen Videos, who's dropped 1 spot, started 5th tonight, has dropped back into the top 6. But Christopher Mitchell will be giving him a bit of a scare now as he watches that name get closer and closer on the relative. And if you don't know what a relative is, that little battle box that you see on the right-hand side of the screen is very similar to what the drivers have in their car. And they can see who's close and who's not. What's happened to Robbie Griffiths? He's off the track, comes back on, and 24th place for him. How's Kieran going tonight? We'll check in. He's still got that broken front wing. I saw him on the cams a second ago, just looking a little bit nervous. I think he's got to try and just get this through to the pit stop, which is probably another 5 or 10 minutes away. They're all just hanging for a safety car now. If we get a safety car, we'll probably see a lot of cars in the pits. You can see he's on the comms there, talking to his teammates. Of course, Christopher Mitchell being one of them. We won't interrupt them whilst they're racing hard out there, but Mitchell is well engaged now onto the back of Holko, and you can see the concentration. And they still manage to talk, these guys. That's what I love. They can multitask. Not only do they race at 10/10 the whole time around a lap, but they can be talking to their competitors, helping each other out, just warning them of the track conditions, if there's any changes, how the car feels. They'll be talking about strategy as well. You can see Mitchell there mid-conversation. He knows his teammates a couple of spots up the road. There's Gianni now, who's just up the road, and I'm sure Gianni's probably speaking back saying, yep, they're probably discussing, right, safety car options. If there's a safety car right now, what do we do, team boss? Do we go in the pits or do we stay out? And whoever the team boss is, I'm not going to nominate one. let's say Ellis is the boss. We'll make him the boss, the young fella. But yeah, they'll be definitely talking strategy right now and what to do and what not to do. Nick's saying, well done, Tim, for making it onto the grid for JWM for the first time tonight for gold. That's correct, actually. We should have a quick look. And well done tonight too. Have a quick look. There's Timothy now, down in 25th place. Tim Schmellenberger for JWM. It's great to see JWM now represented in this F3A series. They're a great team. They've got some great drivers. A really good, wholesome team. And 25th place on debut in gold. That is incredible considering we've got nearly 40 drivers out there. So a good drive for Timothy. Let's hope he keeps on his way. The next one up the road for him, 2.2 seconds to Robbie Griffiths, who's not too far behind Miguel Crespo, another of our DFR entrants. And then a great battle in front. This is Pocock and Edwards. Great scrap going on between the two of them. Let's jump on board here with Red Rocket Racing Pocock. And you'll see a shining Cameron Edwards shortly, either side of the car. How about the leery little headrest he's got in this thing? A bit of leopard skin for Pocock. Very nice. So there is Edwards, tucked in behind the 171, trying to find a way through. Whether or not he can do it, he turns onto the pit straight now. He's dropped a bit of time because I reckon that's where the aero wash is making these cars really struggle to follow closely. We're seeing it amplified here at this circuit. It is a circuit that would amplify such a physic. Oh, gee whiz, that was deep on the brakes there from Pocock. Almost centre punch the back of Edwards. And he drops down to 22nd place now. Top two, nothing's changed there, 0.3 of a second. You've always got to wonder, is Roberts just saving fuel here? Remember, he couldn't out-qualify Dutton though, so Ben Dutton had outright pace prior to the race tonight. In race trim, it's pretty similar. We've seen a 1 minute 35.52 for Dutton and a 1 minute 35.56, so 4/100ths of a second difference between these two in race trim. But you've got to remember, Roberts has also had the advantage for 12 laps of the tow now. Slipstream in behind. Johnny Harris reckons Lutsu for the win, by the way. That was, how long ago did he say that? 10 minutes. He's still up there in 4th place, Lutsu. never count him out, that's for sure, as Roberts now starts to have a bit of a look. And has Ben saved enough fuel to now think, right, I'm going to go for it for the next couple of laps. Will he now consider also an undercut? Because we're getting to that stage of the race now. Maybe they're starting to think, right, we're not going to get a safety car. Everyone's too well behaved. And as you look at the track map, probably down around 12th place there's a gap. Then around 19th place, between 19th and 20th, just crossing the start-finish line now. There's also another quite a large gap to slot back into. Now the gap back to 19th is around 35 seconds or so. So for a quick stop, we only saw 4 seconds stationary stop in the short race tonight. We'll see probably more like 12 or so seconds of fuel being taken on board. But that might get you right out into that gap between 18th and 19th place. Something that I'm sure the driver spotters will just be watching and considering the whole time. Roberts looming in the background, but not going for an overtake yet, nor an undercut. Let's go back to this battle between Jack Mara, who we haven't spoken about tonight, but Jack's out there being chased down by Reese Clayton at the moment, the Gaming Den car behind, and then you've got Chris Barnes with Tanked SRT. The Tanked SRT drivers running 17th and 18th in the race tonight. We had 2 of the 505 endurance cars right up there at the start. One of them, Dennis Cho, had a spin. He dropped back to 10th place, still running in 10th. They're 1st and 10th at the moment for that team. The Kidney Stone brothers, AHR Media, driver of John Baldwin. He's also now inside the top 20 up 5 spots as he has a very fast Red Rocket racing car of Scott Pocock almost dive bomb him once again. He's late on the brakes, isn't he, Mr. Pocock? Sometimes a little bit too late. That was another huge attempt at a move. And behind them you've got Griffiths and then Schmallenberg back in 23rd. Grant Matterford, the Century Batteries in 24th place, up 13 positions for Pulse Racing Team. And then you've got Ramisi, who's in behind in that generic F3A livery tonight, the privateer, and doing a good job. He's just tucked another 0.8 of a second out of the lead of Ramisi on that lap. So he's closing in at a great rate of knots. Can he get past though? Back to the battle with Crouch and Hardy. This is over 8th place. Jumping on board with Rob Crouch for DFR Team Blue. There's a lot going on over in the driver stewards room too, I can tell you right now. If you want to have a quick look, we can just see they're watching. This is what the driver stewards are watching, and I'm going to give you a quick insight here. You've got Dave Roberts, then you can look over at what Lockie Capel's watching, a different view. I think all just watching different replays and what's going on, maybe reviewing a few things there in race control. So that's just an insight of what goes on in the race control room during a race. So there's a lot happening, a lot of people out there doing a great job for this series as well to make it one of the best run series you'll ever see. As Christopher Mitchell just went off the track there for a second, came up with an indicator that he was off, but he's okay. He's now behind Chris Wazell. And then Lutzu, who's next up the road, still running in P4. The clouds in the sky looking quite dark and ominous. I can't wait for the day we can get rain in this in iRacing. How cool will that be? I think we're still a way off. But big thanks tonight, Dave Roberts, Lachlan Capel, Ty Ratcliffe, of course, and then the maestro, Rook Hoystra, who sits there in his conductor's outfit with a, what do they call it, a little a wandy thing. I should know that because I'm in music. Really classically trained though, so whatever the conductor holds, the little stick, little wand, that's what Rook Hoyster, I imagine him sitting back in front of a couple of screens making sure that everything runs to plan, and they do a fantastic job, don't they? Dutton out in front, the gap now 0.3 of a second, closing in again. Surely Roberts is considering an undercut. How much fuel has he saved in 15 laps? We're almost at the halfway point. He was 12 1,000ths quicker on the previous lap. What is he this lap? As we start lap 16, he was 96 1,000ths quicker, so getting closer again. Sean says, no Luke, no rain, never. There's enough crashes as it is. Yeah, I agree. but it would be cool. I think it may be one of those things that we've been waiting for how many years now for rain in iRacing, and then all of a sudden we get it, and after a couple of weeks it's like, hey, no more rain in the service, come on. I think in a 50-minute race like this though, to have the chance of a sprinkle would be pretty cool. Would definitely add another element to sim racing. I know it's quite enjoyable in some of the sims. I know they have it in R-Factor 2 instead of Corso, Project Cars 2 if you want to call that a sim. They definitely have rain, and it can be a lot of fun. It can also be quite frustrating. It would be cool for endurance races, that's for sure. So we're going to head back over to race control, and Ruco's just been kind enough to share his race director's screen with us, so this is pretty cool. So this will give you a real insight to what Ru sees. It's a little bit laggy, but it'll get you access anyhow. So that's what the race director's watching right at this moment. And Ru, who's got his team with him, he's watching the track map there. He's got different camera angles which you can click and go and watch. He's watching an onboard up in the top right as well. And how cool is that he's given us access to see the overview of what he looks at during a race. So it's, like I said, it's a bit laggy showing it over here, but there you go, that's the race director's screen as he watches it live as we're watching it now as well. So thanks Ru, that was really cool, and some good insight of what goes on in the behind the scenes of a series like this. Mabry's in the pit lane now. He's the first driver to jump in for the Gaming Den eSports team. He's in and having a stop. This will give us an indication on the length of time needed for fuel. Keep an eye on that. Who's the other driver in the pits there? There's someone else, Will Ryan and Tom Wilkinson. Unfortunately out of the race there in the pits as well. The stationary time there was 4.38, so quite short. Very similar time there to what we saw in the silver race, so interesting. Let's go over to the battle between Lutzu and Wazell. This is for 4th place. Will Ryan says, go and get him, Marcus Knizka. Knizka's up 15 spots into the top 11 as he chases down Shane Russell now as well. So Knizka on the march. One step out of the top 10 now. Can someone tell me, is that dirt always on the racetrack? We've got a spinner, it's Russell. Just spoke about him and said how Knizka was chasing him down. Now he's gone around at that point, I think, which has cost a few drivers tonight, and he's trying to do a little bit of a funky spin here. And he's just struggling to get the car rotated. Now he does. He's got John Baldwin coming through next, and Pocock will try and go through as well. So we're on board with Pocock, and there's Shane Russell recovering in front, and he has now recovered the car. Just make sure he gets those tyres back into the window if they've just dropped off a little bit, flat spots and all. But that's a bit of a shame because he was having such a good run, Shane. And he drops down now as Lee Hardy goes into the stop for his stop, P9. And I'll see what he takes as far as fuel, because that 4-second stop seems to be quite short. I would have thought they needed a little bit more fuel than that tonight. 6 seconds there for Hardy as he drops out and back into the race. So I reckon 6 or 7 seconds would be more around what you'd expect in a 50-minute race taking fuel on board. Remember, we haven't seen a safety car tonight, so some of the drivers that have been able to take advantage of the tow. This man on screen, Benjamin Roberts. By the way, interesting info from Ru Koistra. Laddick, 16 incident points already in the race. Now, here he is, the man leading the championship. We saw him having a shocker before with crabbing it back to the pit lane. So he stopped on lap 4 to get the damage fixed, took fuel, which will get him to the end of the race. But he's only 1 incident point now off a drive-through penalty. If you get 17 incident points, it's a drive-through penalty. And it would only take one little off track here, and we'll see him go through the pits, which would be, I guess, the nail in the coffin for his race tonight. It has not been a fun one. And yep, Will Ryan saying, sounding healthy again, Lou, good man, and great stream. You, thanks, man. Yeah, I've only coughed a few times tonight. It's so good to be, I wouldn't say I'm 100%, but to feel like I can speak without coughing and all the awful noises I was making beforehand. I got so used to having my finger just resting on the cough button I've got here to mute myself. But yeah, I appreciate the kind words there, Will. I do feel fantastic. So we're back. We're back. We just need that YouTube channel back, and then I'll be a happy man. I just don't know what's going on. YouTube has not even given me one response. So thanks to Taipan Events, they're hosting us up, and they've got us here live, thank goodness. And Facebook, of course, has been there and has never gone away. So big thanks to everyone that continues to jump on Facebook and say g'day each week. Your comments do not go unnoticed, so thank you. Appreciate the support. Bev Parry says going good, Benny. And he is going good, isn't he? So he continues to push and fight for the race lead here. 0.2 of a second. He's starting to look a little bit more aggressive, it's got to be said, in the last couple of laps in particular. All four wheels off the circuit there. I think they get away with that, yeah. But the Mini Muscle Cars Machine Colt 37 of Benjamin Roberts. I've said it a few times already tonight. Surely he's thinking about an undercut. They generally don't do it when I expect them to do it. Maybe I've got a different sort of racing brain to these guys that are actually good at what they do. But I always think at a stage like this, surely when you feel like you're a little bit quicker, maybe just try the undercut. Take the 6 seconds worth of fuel, get back out there. You're going to slot in. Let's have a look at that track map again. You're going to probably slot in around P8, P9. There's a huge gap, in fact, between P8 and P9 at the moment. You can see 8th place just coming down the pit straight, almost at turn 1. And 9th just entering the pit straight now as 8th is on turn 1. So you got the whole pit straightaway there is a gap if Benny was to try an undercut now, and I reckon he'd come out right in that hole. And then you got another big gap around 14th to 15th as well. So the opportunity's there. I just wish someone would do it when I suggest it. Maybe I need live comms to the drivers, say, come on, let's try and spice this up a bit. As Jay Dixon on the back of Dennis Cho, who hasn't had a great race tonight, it's got to be said. Dennis was right up there on P2 at the start and ends up now just outside the top 10. On board with Dixon, the DFR driver. You'll see the flashes of red on the timing screen. That's when drivers are going all four wheels off the track. This is what we call a crash indicator. There's a fair bit of it tonight. They're going consistently wide through the turns. As Mitchell trying to close down that 2.7 second gap to the car in front at this stage of the race. It's been a slow chip away, really. He's taken 0.2 on the last lap. Let's have a look at the lap chart between them, and you can see there, into the pits. So Wazell is going to come in. So Mitchell, he took a 10th out of him on the last lap and 0.6 on the lap previous. So that's worked out pretty well in the end, with Wazell now getting out of the way. Mitchell can carry on. That puts him one step behind his teammate now, Lutzu. And I'm surprised we have not seen a safety car yet tonight. We're 32 minutes in. We could be going flag to flag again tonight. So there you go. Luke says, love the drive from Mara from the back of the pack to the top 10. And you're right there. Thanks for pointing that out. As I say, you guys are my eyes and ears. And the 25 car of Jack Mara now finds himself in P8. 26 spots up. Excellent drive. And with his cat pottering around his rig, apparently. Have we had, I think we've had, over the course of my broadcasting, I think I've had drivers that have had animals either kick out a cable or trip up on something and turn their rig off. I've seen some funny things. I think one of the funniest things to this date, though, is the driver, whose name escapes me right now, who pulled his steering wheel off the desk mid-race. The name will come to me shortly. It was one of the brothers of the sports sedan drivers. This goes to show how many names I've got rattling around my head when I can't remember this guy, because he's an absolute legend. And I'll feel embarrassed when I do remember, but it was one of the funniest moments, I think, in a sim race, when the driver who's at a desk with a set of pedals and a steering wheel yonks the steering wheel right off the desk, and of course race over. So Kanitska and Chow now engaging in a battle, but let's go back to the front, because things have just stepped up a notch. If you saw the lap times roll out, it was a 34.8 versus a 34.9. They have stepped up the pace at the front, and into the last 15 minutes of this race now. Surely a pit stop looming as Lutzu stops 4.9 seconds stationary for him. Hardy was 6 seconds stationary, and Newton was 4 seconds stationary, maybe 6. Arthur 6, Rewalt was about 5, and Baldwin 5 seconds stationary. So between 4 and 6 is the time we're seeing in the pit lane for different drivers tonight. There's the strategy board, the top 13. In fact, Lutzu has stopped, so he will come up on that screen as stopped on the next lap around, which we'll just wait till the next lap. But he's fighting at the moment with Jack Mara, who's in 7th. This is for position between these two. On board with Jack now, Kiwi. Top 7. Great drive from the back. Not sure what happened in qualifying tonight for Jack. Didn't set I don't think, a representative time of what he can actually do in race trim. Now Dutton comes into the lane. Does Roberts follow him? He doesn't. Roberts stays out. So this is a big moment now, because Ben Dutton, who has led this from the get-go, and Yeaman follows him in as well. So Daniel Yeaman's coming into the pits. What about Christopher Mitchell, who's in P4? Will he stay out or come in as well? He's coming in too. So a drive-through penalty for Laddick, incident points related. So there you go. That's what we spoke about earlier. Jaden Laddick has exceeded the 17 incident point limit tonight, and the man leading the championship has got a drive-through penalty. That is heartbreak. And what it's going to do is bring this man, Benjamin Roberts, back into the title hunt. He needs to finish this race either in 1st or 2nd tonight and just gather those points up. That'll put him right back within a chance to win. And Lutzu as well, who moves up into 6th place with 2 competitors in front yet to stop. He's also going to get a little bit of a boost against Laddick with the unfortunate position Laddick's in tonight. He's going to finish probably in the bottom quarter of the field, right at the back. So important lap now for Roberts, who goes very, very wide through there. He's got Hawkins in front, so Brenton Hawkins just up the road, and he's gone out of control and around. So can you believe it? Roberts, who was pushing extra hard to try and get a good in lap, has well, he's fluffed it, to put it bluntly. Benny Roberts, unfortunately, has gone around, and that's going to cost him dearly, because the gap is now only, what is it, 5 seconds, can you believe? Surely it's not that short. It is. So Roberts has dropped now to Ben Dutton, who has stopped. It's 5.6 seconds as he goes into the lane from the lead of the race, and he'll be devastated with that. He was pushing so hard on the in-lap, and it's let go on him, and ultimately that may cost him P2 in this race, because Daniel Yeaman has stopped. Now where's Yeaman going to go? Is he going to go through here up into P2? We'll keep an eye on this. Roberts into the lane now. Stops. He starts taking on fuel. He'll take around 5 seconds worth of fuel, I would say. There he goes. So quick stop, 4.6. Where's Daniel Yeaman? Goes up into P2. So that spin from Roberts just cost him maybe 2nd in this race. And just when I was saying he needed the championship points to stick, well, and what's happened there? That was Mitchell, I think. No, sorry, that was Lutzu. Just getting past Ellis it was. So Kieran is getting out of the way as a lapped car, letting his teammate through. So nice job. But if you're just tuning in, big news tonight. The man leading the championship, Jaden Laddick, he not only had a shocker at the start, and I think got involved in a couple of incidents, but he's now been pinged for exceeding the maximum incidence of 17 in the race, which gives you an instant drive-through penalty. And that leading the championship of 114 points is going to get diminished by quite a bit in this round number 11 of the F3A World Series, as Kanitska now fights with Jay Dixon on board with the Pace Syndicate Alpha driver, up 13 spots in the race. Great drive from Mitchell, up 13. Also Jack Mara up 25 spots, 13 for this man we're on board with now, and Scotty Pocock, get the words out, Luke. Scotty Pocock back there in 21st place, up 15 spots as well. What a tongue twister. Scott doing a great job, the 444 car up into the top 21, 15 spots from where he started, so good race. But Jack Mara, he is the biggest mover and shaker, and he should be commended for that great drive. It's not easy to pilot an F3 car around this circuit, and he's made it stick tonight. He's made his stop on lap 23, 4.8 seconds. So unless something goes terribly wrong for him, he's on for a top 10 finish. Gap at the front, 11.4 seconds. I can't believe the swing, considering that Dutton and Roberts were right together on the way into that pit stop phase. The swing is 13 seconds, so that's what it cost Benjamin Roberts, that spin, 13 seconds of recovery time. And Ben Dutton actually took an extra half a second worth of fuel compared to both Yeaman and Roberts. So sadly for him, that's the way racing goes. Sometimes you just make those errors, especially when you're pushing super hard trying to go for that overcut, which hasn't worked out for him tonight. Pick up Christopher Mitchell momentarily here. He's chasing down his teammate now, so this will be gloves off between the teammates. They'll be speaking to each other and saying, righto, I'm catching you, probably having a bit of a laugh. I think they're both also just keeping in mind that, okay, they're one position off the podium and anything can still go wrong between Dutton, Yeaman and Roberts out in front. And with just on 10 minutes to go in the race, we'll see probably another 7 or so laps, 6 laps maybe. Plenty of opportunities for mistakes to still be made. You can see the gap between Lutzu and Mitchell. It's 1.1 seconds. There they go, the two RaceKraft entrants flying in tandem around the final corner onto the pit straight to start lap 26. As far as battles go, Dixon and Kanitzka, this is their little scrap, and also Scott Newton's involved in this too. 3 cars going through the final corners now. So Newton, Dixon and Kanitzka, 11th, 12th and 13th. The biggest shaker out of those is Kanitzka on the back, up 13 spots. And the lap speed between them across the line, a 36.4, a 36.2 and a 36.2. So very evenly matched, these drivers. Dixon almost thinking about a dive down the inside on Newton. Thought better of it. Stays in 12th place. So for the final time, I just want to quickly mention our sponsors for tonight and give them a quick blast, because, like I said earlier, without sponsors, these series, it would be hard to run them. So tonight's round sponsor, as we put the ticker across the top so you can see where all your favourite competitors are. The round sponsor tonight is, of course, Sapwood Studio. 30% off the total cost for all racers and viewers using the code below, which is, if you go over to the etsy.com.au, shop Sapwood Studios AU, and the coupon code is FRG30. That gets you 30% off tonight, which I think is absolutely mega generous, especially with Mother's Day coming up, and a good chance to help them out. And then, of course, the other one tonight is the VRS sponsorship, which will give you a $100 package. Tonight's code word is goulash. So going into that the last person to enter in tonight's competition was Kim Wallstill. So well done, Kim. You've entered yourself into the competition, and good luck. We'll draw that out with the spinny wheel at the final round of this FRG F3A World Series in 4 or so weeks' time. So your race leader, great lead, 12 or so seconds, 12.7. He's got this one well in check now. Roberts is on the back of Yeaman, so this will be the battle for second. Now, outright pace, I'll probably put my money on Ben Roberts tonight. He's about 3/10 quicker across a lap than Daniel Yeaman, but you're talking about Daniel Yeaman, a man that he knows how to defend when it's needed. He's been in these situations up the pointy end of a high-class race like this F3A Gold, and how wide can he make that F3 car tonight? Roberts is closer once again, right on his tail, heading through the final corner onto the pit straight. Roberts will try and get a really good toe down here and maybe dive to the inside. They've probably given up on a race win tonight. The gap's just too big, but here he goes, and Yeaman comes across, slams the door shut. And that's what I said, Yeaman will know how to defend this position through turn one. A bit of opposite lock from Yeaman, he wags the tail. And here goes Roberts, just moving across a little bit. And Roberts having a bit of a look around the outside. Surely he won't make that stick. We've seen that happen in F1 though. It's quite a common place to try and overtake in the F1. And Roberts continues to just hound the back of Daniel Yeaman. I'm waiting for the dive. Here he goes down the left side now. Then he tucks back in behind again. So fascinating little battle between these two. And Roberts, like I said, probably has the lap pace. But it's going to come down now to RaceKraft and who can hold their head in the final 6 minutes of this race. Rizzo Gorman said he's the Charles Leclerc of DSR and I'm the Carlos Sainz. Oh, Reese, saw you inside the top 10. Hard luck tonight, man. You'll bounce back, but hard luck tonight. Great to see Mara doing well. 25 spots up into the top 9. We'll stay with this battle for P2. So I don't think this is over just yet. We will check in with a couple of others shortly, but this is a good scrap. Roberts, let's jump on board as he tucks right up behind Yeaman again. Let's see how aggressive Yeaman is this time. Through the final corner, the back end of Yeaman's car was just starting to step out. He got it in check quite quickly. They released now onto the pit straight. Good exit there from Roberts. He should be close enough to have a go. Yeaman runs it down the pit wall, so he's already shown his defensive intention. The long way around for Roberts. Here he goes. And he might even try for a switch back here through turn 1. Now down the hill, looking back from Daniel's car. There's Benny filling the wing mirrors. Now he goes around the outside again. He'll try and switch back in behind. He'll get one more shot down the bottom of the hill if he's game. I don't think he's going to do it this lap though. I think he's probably going to wait. We've probably got 3 laps to go in the race. And how much pressure can Daniel Yeaman withstand? Uncle Hutto would like an update on the JWM, boys. We'll get that for you shortly. We're just with this battle. I feel like something's about to happen here. And Roberts gets through. Mistake from Yeaman. Roberts goes through and up into P2. Yeaman will fight this back, but Roberts has got the job done. And Yeaman, who just got a little bit squirmy there, the car's right on the limit of grip and it's let go on him, and Roberts now will have to defend. So fantastic battle, and it's been a pleasure to watch. Can Roberts now hang on for the last couple of laps here and not throw it away like he did earlier? Let's do some quick updates. We'll go through Timothy Schmallenberg down in 23rd spot. We need to get that name updated too, so we've got JWM on the broadcast details, but he's down in 23rd spot tonight and racing along quite well on debut, of course, in the top split, which is fantastic. So you race leader by 15 seconds now. See you later. You can already taste the champagne with just under 3 minutes to go. And Jay Dixon fighting here with Newton. This is a good battle through the final couple of corners, and Newton just holds him out. Dixon goes wide out onto the marbles there. That'll probably hurt his exit onto the pit straight. Not what you want to do. In fact, he got a great exit, a good slingshot, so he proved me wrong. And he goes Jay Dixon. Newton goes defensive down towards the braking zone. He gets alongside the DFR car. Will try a switchback surely out of the corner. Here he goes. Oh, and he lost it. He lost it. He spun it. He hung on to it, Jay Dixon, but he did lose a few positions there. So unfortunately, from the onboard camera, you could just see he got a little bit excited on the switchback. And the back tyre said, that's it, you've had enough grip for this evening. You're going to go for a bit of a slide here, and he did. Sadly, dropped him back behind Knitska and Clayton, who slide up into 11th and 12th now in the final stages of this race. There's a small screen replay for you of that moment on board. Looking back, and you can just see how quickly you can go from go to woe in a race like this when you ask too much of the tyres. There it was, looking back. You can just see the DFR car switches across to the inside, just asked too much. Back end, let's go, and around she goes. Did a good job not to lose more positions, in fact, and he dropped 2. Could have been a lot more as we watch the teammates here. Gloves off for the last lap of this race. They cross the line. We may get 2 more laps in. I'm just watching the timing here with Ben Dutton. It's just on 1:15 to go on a time certain race, and he's halfway through the lap, so we definitely will get the extra lap. Will that play an effect into the fuel strategies tonight, considering how close it has been? For some of these drivers, I know they use different tools to pick how much fuel they put in the car, but they can sometimes run it very, very close to the limit. When you get that extra lap, you can throw all the calculations out, especially if there's a manual safety car thrown in as well for good measure. But Ben Dutton, nothing's going to stop him tonight. It's been a great race. It was a great qualifying effort, and now he's going to try and bring it home for a fantastic win. Keith Logan says incident points for Yeaman and Roberts must be up as well. They must be. I don't have a live tally of incident points. Usually Rue will tell me if someone's getting close. I'd say they're okay at this stage. Looks like Roberts has been able to break away from Daniel too. And Dutton just crosses the line now to start what is lap 32. In the final lap of the race, the white flag will drop. So they will do a complete extra lap here. So just on 3 seconds to go on the time certainty of the race. And Dutton's already down the hill through about turn 3 or 4. So fantastic. One more lap to go. Roberts will hold on to second by the looks of things. Lutzer in the background now. We're going to get a late charge here from Mitchell, who I can see he's having the time of his life. So Mitchell's in 5th place here. He's having a good old laugh here, and they're having a scrap, these two. And I reckon they're going to fight this to the end. Christopher Mitchell, let's jump on board with him. He's right behind his teammate, and this is what you love to see. Sim racers laughing and enjoying every minute of their racing. He goes around the outside now on Lutzu, trying to have a go down the hill. How many more shots will he get? Big smile on his face. He's enjoying every minute of this. And Gianni Lutzu, let's have a quick look at his reaction to all this, because he's the man with all the pressure. Looking out the back, you can see there's a shot back at Mitchell, and he's having a smile too. He's enjoying this. He's having a laugh. Let's go back and look at Dutton though, because he's only got a couple of corners to go. Ben Dutton has been absolutely on fire tonight. This has been a race and a half, and he's going to take a well-deserved victory here for round number 11 of the F3A World Series. The checker flag drops, and Ben Dutton tonight is crowned your race winner. Mega effort. He gets the job done from Benny Roberts, who's going to hang on for second, and then it's going to be Daniel Yeaman third as they come around to cross the line. Roberts P2. What could have been if it wasn't for that spin? You got to think. Yeaman on the podium for third. Great drive. And then Lutzu is going to edge out his teammate. So Gianni comes across the line, and he's happy with that too. Mitchell goes P5 just behind his teammate. And great effort from both those guys. They would have loved that. Mitchell, the big smile's gone now as he realises he's got P5, but he still would love that. He'd be happy with it. And Ben Dutton, what a win. Holko comes home in 6th place with Rob Crouch, your top 7. Hardy gets himself into 8th. Jack Marrow, what a drive. Crossing the line, 25 spots up into the top 9. And then Scott Newton will round out your top 10 ahead of Kaniska, Clayton, Dixon, Barnes, Edwards, Russell, Rewalt. James Rewalt comes home in 17th, just ahead of Mabry. Good drive. Scott Pocock up 17 spots to get 19th tonight. That's a good effort as well. And he should be pretty proud of that one as they cross the line. So there goes Rewalt, Mabry, and Pocock in the background. And John Baldwin tonight will round out your top 20 for what's been a great night of racing. We'll get some podium interviews shortly. We'll wrap it all up here on RaceStars TV from the F3A World Series. Thanks to RaceKraft Simulations. Race results coming up on the screen now as we watch Benny Dutton enjoy himself there with some celebrations. 5:05 from pole position to a win tonight, and a 14.8 second win at that. Benjamin Roberts got second for Mini Muscle Cars Machine Colt, and Daniel Yeaman rounding out your top 3. Lutzu and Mitchell there for RaceKraft, 4th and 5th. Holko, Crouch, Hardy, Mara and Newton, your top 10. Then it was Knitska, Clayton, Dixon, Barnes, Edwards, Russell, Rewalt and Mabry down to 18th place. 19th tonight went to Pocock, Big Baldwin, then Schmellenberg on debut in the top split for JW Motorsport got 21st. Arthur Crespo Cho had an unlucky race tonight for 24th, and it was Hawken Griffiths Laddick. That's a big one for the championship tonight. 27th place. Mazoka Ramisi down there in 29th. Warby 30th, and it was Ellis, Matterford, O'Gorman, Wazell, Broad right down there in 35th. Will Ryan and Wilkinson, unfortunately, didn't get too far into this race. They finished 36th and 37th in the race. Let's head down now and talk to some drivers. And we're just waiting for Ben Dutton to come and join us. I think he's just enjoying himself having a burnout session out there tonight. But what a great win. He'll be stoked with that. And we'll grab Benny in shortly. We're just going to wait now for Dutton, of course, and Yeaman to come across. But for the championship, well, that will still change things around a bit. Benjamin will claw a few points back on Laddick, who leads the championship. And, well, it's going to get tighter and tighter towards the end of the season, and that's what we want to see. We want to see a tight championship. And well done tonight, Ben Dutton, who joins us in the booth. What a great win, man. You had to endure a lot of pressure for the first half of that race. And then just at the end, the pressure was taken away, and from pole to a race win here in round 11. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, Ben really kept me honest the first half. It was like the closest racing for a win at least that I've had in a long time. So that was really good and kept it respectful. And so yeah, that was crazy to the end. And then yeah, at the end it was a bit easier and I could breathe a bit. But yeah, got there in the end.
Yeah, and just talk us through, I mean, no safety cars tonight, so it was flag to flag. And your strategy, you came in first, didn't you? Benjamin stayed out that extra lap. Sadly for Ben, and we'll speak about this shortly, but Ben had a bit of a slide, which probably ultimately took that pressure off from it being a race between the two of you for the win. But all in all, Ben, you held it together, and that first half of the race proved to be the important point for you tonight.
Indeed, yeah. It was tried to just keep minimal mistakes, and whatever mistakes I did make, they were just small ones. So, and then I could usually pull away in the last two corners, and that just kind of kept me safe a bit. But yeah, no, he kept me honest.
And Ben, mate, talk us through your race, because you were looking so quick throughout the first half. Obviously, you went for the overcut tonight, and you pushed just that little bit too hard.
Yeah, that's annoying, really annoying. There's a car in front of me. I was just lost my concentration a little bit, put a wheel on the grass and sort of went around. But still, P2. Got a bit hairy getting past Daniel coming out of a chicane. I was really afraid of taking him out because if I took him out, it would be a drive-through. And with Jade not having such a good race, it really closes up the point situation.
Yeah, exactly right. You needed to capitalise on that tonight with Jaden. Well, to put it quite frankly, he's had a shocker because he also got pinged with a drive-through penalty for an incident limit points, too many incident limits. So that's hurt him, and that's going to close down that. I think it's 114 points in the championship. It's going to really close that up for you, Benny, which puts you back in the hunt, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm within 50 points now, I think. So, it's getting pretty close.
And Daniel, mate, great drive tonight. It's good to see you in the car, mate, and representing Drop Bear again so well. P3, and a good fight with Benny as well. You just got a little bit loose. That's where he got through on you.
Yeah, that's the case. And certainly first time in the car for I think about 4 weeks because I'm not driving the F3 car and open wheelers at all at the moment. So very much a one-off kind of thing. I mean, I'll be back for Montreal in 2 weeks. That's the next time I'm able to get back behind the wheel. But yeah, tonight just it felt like towards the end there, rear tyres were cooked like a goose. Actually got a warning saying they dropped below 50%.
Wow.
On the final lap of the race there, so into turn 2, got the warning from the spotter saying I was burning them up. Yep. So clearly just a technique thing, and up into the chicane, the rear just completely went away from me, and Ben was able to just take the line normally and slip through there. So tried to give him a good fight there, given I was like all of a sudden, well, there we are, we're now racing for P2 rather than a quiet P3, but he clearly had the technique and the car underneath him to make that fairly easy once I was having to defend that one properly into a few too many corners.
You're very modest, mate. You still made it look very good out there tonight with great speed, even though you haven't been in the car. So, like riding a bike for you, you're straight back onto some good form. So, well done, P3 tonight. Let's go through the top 3, do some thank yous. And starting off with Ben tonight, from pole position to a win for 505 Endurance. Congratulations. Who would you like to thank, Ben?
Well, thank all the guys involved in running, Rue and the whole team, Luke for streaming, and my teammates, Dennis and Marcus, for the good times and the competition egging each other on. And other than that, Centrelink for money, and yeah.
Very good, man. Well done. P1 tonight. Looking forward to seeing you do more of those sort of efforts in the future. Benny, P2, who would you like to thank?
Yourself, Luke, for broadcasting this. Rue and all the guys at FRG for putting this on. Of course, Machine Cult, Mini Muscle Cars, all the other series sponsors, and all the other competitors.
And then P3 tonight, Daniel Yeaman, rounding out the top 3. Who would you like to thank, mate?
Yep, to the boys at Drop Bear, big thanks to all of them. With all the things, well, primarily Apex Hunters Endurance. Look forward to finishing off that season this weekend with them. Other guys who are racing in the series, I got a couple of them, so great to have join them for the week. Then to our team partners in Coast Engineering Solutions, Sam Blacklock Media, Hybrid Racing Simulations, and Revolution Race Gear. Big thanks to all of them for continuing to support us this year. To the Beyond Blue crew, while we're sort of just doing this here quietly by ourselves, of course. Great to be able to fundraise for them and run these blue paints in these cars for the next couple of, most of this year. So as an aside, we'd love it if you guys could check us out on Facebook, and we'll keep things up to date there. There's a link to our fundraiser through the Facebook page and such. Be able to support a great foundation like that real quickly and keep fundraising for them. And then just quickly, thanks to the FRG team. Thanks for having us back again, even though it's a part-time thing for us at this stage, given other leagues as well during the week. And then to you, Luke, big thanks for broadcasting. Look forward to having a watch back of the race after this one tonight.
Thanks, Daniel, and great to see you on the podium, man. So Ben tonight with a win, Ben Dutton, Benjamin Roberts P2, and Daniel Yeaman P3. Congratulations to our podium.
Cheers, Luke.
Cheers, Luke.
Cheers, guys. Now we'll head across to Rue, the maestro for this evening's races. No safety car required in the final race tonight. Good job by the boys after what was quite a messy start with Silver with a couple of huge incidents. But, the cream has risen to the top, and these top guys make it look pretty easy out there, don't they? So, Benny Dutton, great win.
Oh, absolutely. Where did he come from? That was amazing. That was a convincing win. We were pretty surprised and happy to see him come through with the goods. We had a pretty relaxed night as far as the safety car goes, but that was an amazing race. I want to say congratulations to Mickey Rubok and Andrew Lachlan. That was their maiden kind of on the podium kind of stuff. I saw Mickey Rubok on your stream. I quickly switched across and I saw him rejoicing and losing his shit. And I was like, oh my god, this is exactly why we do this. Yeah. And it was so good to see Mickey just having a bit of a rejoice there. So just a bit of kudos to him, and that was pretty cool.
Can I butt in there too? I think especially after what happened last week, because Mickey was on for a podium last week, and the disappointment of that really shone through with the excitement tonight, which is fantastic.
Absolutely, and we all felt that disappointment last week as well. Literally everyone, when that happened, we were just like, "Oh man, this was the time. This was the time for you to shine." But it was a week out. It's fine. So that was really cool. So we're happy to see that happen. We're also happy to see the close-up of points between Benny and Jaden. Yep, that's now getting pretty exciting, right?
100%. Yeah, it's heading into 3 rounds to go, something like that. So it's going to be tight.
3 rounds to go. We've got what do we got? We got Barcelona next week. I can't remember what the one after that is, but and then we got the secret one, and I think we're gonna come down to the wire on this one. Also, Daniel gets a little bit of a shout out for being the fastest talker in that last getting all the sponsors in a short period of time. I think he should think about calling horse races, because that was amazing. But all in all, I think we're gonna be in for an exciting finale.
Very good. Now let's quickly talk, as we do, about our sponsors. We've got Sapwood Studio on board tonight. We've been plugging that all night. 30% off. How good's that?
That's massive.
Yeah, and to have just people not connected with racing as such come in and say, hey, here's a deal. So hopefully, I'm just going to prompt it up on the screen again tonight. Hopefully some people go and take advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, we've got like Mother's Day coming up, and like, you know, if you just want, you know, to wear cool jewelry, basically. And Sapper's got that kind of, I don't know, like, I haven't had a lot of contact with like how they want to be represented, but I think Sapper's got that 60s, 70s funk cool chic going on, personally. So, like, you know, if you want to get something for Mother's Day or yourself, get involved, because 30% is huge.
Yep.
No one does 30% anymore.
Yep, I'm definitely going to have a look after this. There's some pretty cool stuff on there. And I haven't got a Mother's Day present yet, so I need to get onto that.
Yeah, come on, man.
Very good. And we've also got, of course, the VRS comp, as always, plugging away there. More people joining up for that tonight, which is great. Excuse me, I'm still coughing here. $99 US.
How many people can you fit on that spinny wheel at the end of the season? Because that's going to be a fat wheel.
I can tell you, actually, because I've still got the last one from last time we did this here saved. I'm going to quickly bring it up and show people what I mean, because
we're going to break the wheel. This is
what it looked like last time for folks at home. I'll get the big version. There it is. That was the spinny wheel last time with all the names. And that's what we'll be doing at the end of this season once again for VRS to give away that package. And tonight's goulash. You know what? I googled goulash before the race and I nearly vomited.
Goulash is amazing. Like, the goulash is the shit you eat. Sorry, the stuff you eat when it's minus 40 degrees and you're gonna die.
Yeah.
And you have the goulash. You're like, oh my god, this is saving my life. Goulash is amazing.
With bread, I'm sure a lot of bread as well. They're bread and butter.
Yeah, bread, butter, goulash, lard, the whole thing. Anything that causes heart attacks in the early grave, that is the awesome meal. That is goulash.
Very good. And of course, to finish off our sponsor talk, RaceKraft, who were well represented tonight, Gianni and Christopher, just off the podium, 4th and 5th. Just watching those two as well, you know, Christopher having a great laugh and Gianni as well, as they battled over 4th place. Once again, that's what this series is all about, just fun and excitement.
Well, yeah, I saw that. I saw Chris having a right old cack there in the last lap or two. I'd love to hear the audio feed between them two in the last lap, because they look kind of fun.
For sure. All right. Well, next week we're off. Was it Barcelona? You said?
Barcelona. Yeah, absolutely. So, not sure which setup we're going to go with that one. We're going to do a bit of testing in the next couple of days. Obviously, choosing whichever one is the most fun for us, really. Not for the racers, for us.
For sure.
And that should be. We're going with the old one with the sweeper at the end of that.
Yep.
Because
Perfect.
we find that a little bit more fun, and maybe get rid of that at chicane, because, you know, bugger that chicane.
Yeah.
And we were all about promoting better racing, so we'll go with the old school, and it should be fun for everyone.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, getting a good draft onto the pit straight will be fantastic. Well, thanks, Roo.
Oh yeah.
And thanks, Dave and Lockie and Ty in race control tonight. Absolute legends, and we'll do it all again in is it a couple of weeks' time, or is it next week?
Next week?
Next week, there we go.
No, we're all on.
Round 12 next week. Excellent.
Why would we wait?
Why would we wait?
Yeah.
Very good, man. Right, thank you for all your hard work, and we'll see you next time.
All right, mate. Catch you later.
Cheers, and thanks to the podium too. They hung around there. Well done, Ben, again tonight. Benjamin Roberts, P2, and Daniel Yeaman. See you, boys.
See ya.
See ya.
Legends. Right, that's it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, everyone at home that enjoyed the battles tonight of the F3A World Series. And big thanks to all the comments. Let me get one last cough in before I speak to the end of the broadcast. But thanks for all the comments tonight that made this broadcast entertaining for everyone, and putting your little words in as well. Maddie, thanks for the stars. Chris for the stars. Keith for the stars. Tyson for the stars. You guys are legends. Tomorrow night, improved production cars. Make sure you tune in for that from Winton. That's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Until then, I'm Luke. This is RaceStars TV. I'm going to leave you with, first of all, our sponsor, and then a RaceKraft simulator quick video as well. Make sure you check it out. Thanks.